Welcome to Miniature Muse. Today I'm going to be putting together a diorama, and it's going to be built around this bar table and chairs that I got from Life Doll. I did have this as a Christmas present about a year ago, and I'm excited to finally update this and get it up on the shelf so I can pose my ladies on the shelf. So I'm going to show you what's in the box and then show you how I update it because it is raw blank wood that's laser cut. Now, I do have a laser cutter, but I have not designed anything like this, at least not yet. I saw this on Etsy and decided I just had to have it. I think it was going to be perfect. And look at these chairs. They're really well done, and you can see where the wood has been cut twice and then glued together, but it is put together very well, and it's really a nice set of chairs that come in the box. This table helped sell this set to me for something that I wanted to add to my collection. You can see it's pretty sturdy and it's modern. What I like about it is the way that it has, just the sides on it. It's well put together. And on the other side of this, we have an open area where you can put things on the shelf like right here, and I'm looking forward to putting some things on there. This is going to be really nice. And here are some additional items that came. This little crate, it's got nice little handles in it, and you can see it's put together perfectly well. Don't think it's going to fit on the shelf, but I am going to paint it anyway and figure out what I'm going to do with it. I wish it could fit on the shelf. That would have been really nice to put some items in the crate, but we're going to have to figure it out. And then the other item that came in here, which is just an additional piece, is this cute little sign that says Home Sweet Home. Now, obviously I cannot paint the front of it, so I'm not even going to bother to try to paint the back of it. I'll just keep it as is, and I'll find a place for it somewhere else. I'm not sure in my bar diorama is the right place because, well, it's a bar set. Now, while the bar set could be at home, it's not going to be. And normally I just slap some paint on the wood, but I thought today I would give it a try with some gesso that I believe is supposed to help to seal it. So that's what I'm going to do. I couldn't find my other gesso, so I had to buy a new one, which is okay. I'll end up using it later. And then I picked up some paint because I wanted to do two tones, not one tone. And so I picked up this bittersweet chocolate and this fawn color that I thought would go nicely together. And then I'll build things in the diorama around it. And then I got a satin varnish because, well, I don't want a dry look. But I don't want a shiny look on this either. And so I'm going to use this satin varnish to finish it off once I paint it. Yeah, so I'm going to just briefly show you how I spread the gesso on. It's the same as spreading on paint. I try to do a nice thin layer, and I'm going to end up painting this, I think, about 3 times. Okay, so everybody has gesso on them, and I did do this twice. Then I figured I don't need to do it 3 times because why keep on painting when I'm going to put paint on anyway. And I actually wore gloves today. Usually there's paint all over my fingers. So I'm just double checking to make sure that I got the gesso to most of the spots on here so that it's ready for the paint. And then I'm going to start painting. And here's a tip for you. Every time I buy something that has some kind of plastic on it, especially if it's something that's kind of shallow or deep, I don't want to say deep dish, but at least has an edge around it that can hold paint or something liquid in it. I save it. I can use this for glues. I can use it for paints, and then I can just dispose of it. So the only cleanup I have is the brush if I'm using a brush to apply something. So I'm just going to start with the darker color, and I'm going to paint the corners, which I always make sure to do the corners and then spread out because I don't know, it's just my process. So I'm gonna slap all this paint on, and I'll be back when we've got the paint on after a couple of coats. So I have the dark or the chocolate on right now, and I'm just going in and adding in the fawn color in the areas where I wanted to put it, because I wanted to kind of, I think it's gonna pop. My chairs are all done, nicely painted. To me, they look pretty smooth. And while they look okay like this, I really do need that varnish, because it's going to help protect the paint. And I do think it's going to bring up a little bit more shine. Even though I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of shine in the camera, you should be able to see a difference when I'm done. So I am going to break out that varnish and start painting that. You can see as I put the varnish on how it's just kind of changing things. It's already smooth, and I love the smoothness of the paint after the coats I did. Yes, 3 coats, not 2. I always envy people who say they do 2 coats. I'm like, how are you doing that? Because I'm always back for a 3rd. But you can see the shine coming in. Now that shine will go down just a little bit when it dries, but it is going to be giving it more of a sheen, which is what I'm going for. Okay, so we are ready to finish building the room. You can see everything is done. Hopefully you can see that little bit of sheen coming off of the table and chairs. See that? And then I decided, although I normally go with white for stuff, that I'm going to go a little bit darker, because I went with dark furniture and I think it's going to look pretty sexy. So what I'm going to do is I'm using this black foam board as my diorama walls, and I am going to build around this dark theme and make sure to have lighting, of course, and think about what I'm going to fill in the shelves with as well. I have decided that I want to do some kind of wood wall with a design on it. So on that back black wall, I am going to be painting these sticks in a reddish color. This is red paint that's watered down. I'm going to be putting that on these sticks that I have cut with my cutter. I did not show that I was cutting them because it was just driving me crazy, and I had to do it while I was watching the show and struggle with it. But I did use a pair of manual cutters that I have, because I have not broken out my actual machine to do this. But I've mixed up this red and I've put water in it. I made sure it's loose enough, and it is what I'm going to use to be staining the sticks. Okay, look at that red. It is coming out just as I thought it would. I'm only going to have to paint the one side, but I like it. It's a really nice color that I mixed up out of, I think, a darker red and then something a little bit lighter, and I may have added a little tan because I didn't want to add any white. That would have taken it pink. So yeah, if you've not heard this before, water down your paint and make a stain out of it, and it should look good. Just make the color that you want. So I'm going to make sure to paint all the edges and everything, and I have a lot of these to do, so we'll be back after they dry. I'm just showing you all the iterations of wood that I wanted to go through, because I could not make my mind up what I wanted to do, and I just kept removing the sticks before gluing them down and just trying all these different patterns to see what resonated with me over and over again. And finally I did, this was a terrible one, but I did pick a pattern, and it was the first one. So yeah, the X I started with is the X I ended up with, but that's okay. I really like this pattern, and I think it's gonna look good once everything is put together. So I glued all the sticks on, and this is what we've got. So I wanted a shelf to sit in one of the corners of the room, and I wanted it to be graduated, I think that's what you call it. And so I designed it and printed it with my 3D printer. I had it printed in parts because I had created a maybe about 11-inch tall item, and my printer can only print up to 10 inches. So what I decided to do was break it apart into 3 separate boxes, which I'm going to have to glue. The bottom one is taller than the other 2, but this is going to work out well. And yes, I did it taller on purpose. So yeah, all glued together. It's going to look good, and we're going to have to make some things to go on the shelf. So here's the shelf all put together, and the items that I 3D printed, they're just files that I found online in Makerspace. And I keep setting the room up and then taking it apart because I want to see how it looks to me. On the floor, you will see that I did add on the shelf some liner that I had in my stash that I thought would be dark enough to look good. And because it's gray and then I've got some silver over there on a couple of the sculptures, I thought that that would work well together and kind of, you know, bring that together, look like we have the same similar colors in there. I just thought it would look good. Right? I'm not really a great designer, but this room I think is going to be awesome when I'm done. So that's what I've done. Just take a look. I'm putting my light back up there that I have up on the top. And I just want another feel for the space before I go ahead and move forward with the next steps of what I want to put in here.
Some wonderful
So I originally thought that I would have to create some artwork to go on the walls, but I happened to go to the quilt store the other day just to get some thread, which I ended up not getting there, by the way. But I walked through the whole place. I've never been there before and found so many beautiful prints. But what I really wanted was something that would have some red to it that would kind of coordinate with the wood wall. So I picked out two different prints because I have two walls that I need to put prints on. So I thought I would just pick up something that was really busy, and I really like this one because it's going to give me the 3 pieces of artwork that I want out of it. And for a larger piece of print, I thought this was perfect. This is going to fit. It's about 10 and a half inches long for my wall that I need to put it on by itself because the other pieces are going to have to go on the one that has the shelf on it, so they don't need to take up that much room. So I do have leftover foam board that I'm going to use from cutting these walls, and that's what I'm going to make the artwork out of. I'm going to check my measurements, even everything out, and then glue the fabric just on the back. So I double checked my measurements to make sure before I went ahead and glued this down, but I have my trusty clips available to hold the fabric after I glue it. This is about 10 and a half inches long by 5 inches wide. And the piece for this fits really well on the side wall to the right when I'm looking at the diorama. So I'm going to just glue the back of this, not the front. So I'm sure there are several ways to glue things down. This is what works for me, having the clips be able to hold it tight, and then I use a toothpick because I can throw it away easily, but I like to spread on a nice little thin coat. Not too thin, but thin enough. It is going to come through the fabric, which is why it can only be glued in the back. But that doesn't matter because, you know, other artwork gets stapled on the back too, and we don't want to see the staples. So I am going to spread the glue out as thin but as wide as I can to make sure that it does catch and hold the fabric really well. And then of course I can toss that toothpick after I'm done this session. So, you know, anything I can keep, use, and then, you know, throw away is what I'm going to do. So as you can see, I'm holding this really tight to be able to put the clip back on. And it's going to take a couple of hours for it to dry, but I'm making sure to like really smooth it out. Make sure the glue is being caught in it, you know, it's all pushed down, and then put the clips on. So that's what I'm going to do with all of the pieces, the same process. And I'll show you really quick what I do at the end. So the ends have been turned up and everything's been glued down. And so we're ready to sit and dry. So I'm going to move on to the other artwork and cut up those pieces to a different size to fit on the walls. I've got 3 pieces here, and I'm just going to pick what I want to highlight in this fabric, and then I'm going to start gluing that down. I finally picked out what I wanted. I know it may not make any rhyme or reason to you, but I see what I wanted to see. And it's cohesive but different, and so everything got glued down, and I used the same clipping method, and I think these are going to look great on the wall. You'll see. So next up was the dilemma of how am I going to hang these, because I didn't want to put like a string on the back, and I didn't know what I was doing. I caught myself cutting up this pin to be about a little bit shorter than the length of the 2 pieces put together, because this represents the little the wall that it has to go through into the artwork. But after much ado, that did not work out for me. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent solution, but temporarily it should work. I found my adhesive dots and just figured I'd put a whole bunch of dots on the back, and that's how I'm going to hang things for now until I find a better way. So let me go stick the dots on. I'm also using a leveler. This is a really small one that I'm going to be able to put at the top of the artwork and hope that I get it straight. So let's go get it hung up, and then we'll go look at the diorama again. All right, now here we are. Artwork is hung up. I think it looks great. I'm loving the colors. They look just like I thought they were going to look. I mean, did you see the fabric? Yeah, this is a room tour because our diorama is done. I do think I'm going to add a little bit more lighting to it, but it's lit up well enough right now. And these are just some items that I had in my stash to be able to fill up the table, fill up the shelves. Again, we had to have liquor because this is a bar table. And there's my beautiful piece of artwork on the side. It looks perfect. I think this room really came together. What do you think? Do you think this room came together? I think it did. I think it looks really good, and I'm loving it. It's just gorgeous. Yeah, I'm so proud of myself. This is a step outside of things I normally do. Again, I said with the black wall, even using like the red. Like I am usually all light and bright, but I think this room, if the floor included, which kind of has kind of a cementy feel to me, I think it looks perfect. Yeah, I'm loving it. Hopefully you learned a few techniques or something new, or just got inspired today to go create a diorama and step outside of your own comfort zone to do something a little different. I think this is just one of the best dioramas I've put together pretty quickly too, and winging it. It's wonderful. Look at all that stuff. And guess what? The ladies, they're enjoying it as well. Yes, they are. They're socializing. They're happy to have a new place to sit and be and talk to each other. And who knows, we'll switch it up and some other ladies will be in there later. But here's who's enjoying it right now, and they look like they're having a great time. Shucks, I would have a great time in this room. I can't help but just keep panning all over. Take it all in. Take it all in. So proud of myself. I really do hope though that this inspires you to do a diorama you may have been thinking about doing or waiting to get around to. I told you I'm going to get back into my designing and I am back into it. I still have something to do with the front of the contemporary that I've started working on. I've started filming, but that might take me a minute, but I can hardly wait. I do hope that you enjoyed this episode of Miniature Muse and that you will join us again as we continue to create. See you next time.